what if I told you that the power of like controlling how good your life is simply based off of your thoughts? Literally, your thoughts are what make your life good. Because people can have everything that someone else may want, but if they can't acknowledge that, and if they can't be grateful for that, and all they're focusing on is the negative, and they have so much negative thoughts, they're not going to be happy. It's literally all in your hands. And I'll say this, it's not something that right away you just like change your thoughts and it works like perfectly right away. It takes time. You have to actually try. But it's really easy to develop this skill through consistency and just believing that you can. You have to actually believe that you're going to be able to do it. And when a negative thought comes your way, you just have to replace that thought with a positive thought. I know it sounds so like easy, and it really is. The whole point is to not force yourself to not think about the negative thought. It's to just think about the positive stuff. So, for example, let's say you're about to do something big in life, like, for me it was quitting my job. When I did it, when I left the 2 weeks notice for that 2 weeks, I was stressed out mentally. I was scared. But then, in the end of those 2 weeks, before the 2 weeks was up and I was officially like unemployed, I changed my thoughts. I realized that, look, over 6 months, I've been making most of my money from trading. Not all of it, because I also made money from the job, but most of my money came from trading. And I knew I was good at trading. So I was just like, okay, that's one piece of proof. That's one thing I could focus on that could reduce my stress. Another thing, I know I'm good at trading. I know how I am, and I know that I'm destined for success. I know that no matter what life throws my way, I'm gonna throw something even better back at it. When I was coming up, when I first passed my first eval, or actually before I even passed my first eval, I was telling my mom my whole plan with prop firms and all that. And one thing she told me was life is gonna slap you in the face. And if I'm being honest, life slapped me in the face so many times. I got slapped, bitch slapped. I got gangbanged by life. Like, life was coming at me, you know? But then I came back at it. I told my mom, no hesitation, when she said life is gonna slap me in the face. I told her, I was like, when life slaps me in the face, I slap back even harder. Because up until that point, life was already slapping me in the face. I've accomplished a lot up to that point, like with my weight loss, school, my personal character development, even trading. Despite me not having to make money, I still progressed a lot, and I came far within that time span. So instead of thinking about what can go wrong with quitting the job, I started thinking about what's most likely to happen. I went into being realistic because I was creating false scenarios in my head of me failing. But I know personally that I'm a success. I'm a successful individual. I continuously succeed and overcome every challenge. And I had to remind myself of that. And then that was all I thought about. And I changed my thoughts from a negative potential outcome. I don't even want to say potential, just a negative false reality. And I replaced it with the reality of who I am, how I think, how I come back from every situation I get put in even better. And then I ask myself, how have I come back from life slapping me in the face? So, first time I passed my eval, I'm gonna give you guys like a little rundown. Hold on. Okay. First time I passed an eval, I remember I blew it within 4 days. Every day the next week, I won the first trade, and then like the week I passed, and then every day the next week I lost. And I remember going into work that day. I think I've said this in another video. I went into work the day I blew an eval that I worked my whole summer to pass, from May up until August. I was grinding. All I wanted to do was pass an eval. I thought passing an eval was the biggest accomplishment. Little did I know that now I'd be doing it within 3 days whenever I wanted to, easily, and not really caring, right? 2 days, actually. Sometimes even 1 day I passed. And I passed most of them first try. But anyways, I didn't know that at the time. But I did believe that I was going to get to this point. Okay, that kind of contradicts what I just said. But forget that. Forget the logic in this. Like, in this part. Anyways, so I go into work, and I just blew something that I worked so hard for. I didn't cry about it. I didn't complain. I didn't put myself down. I went into work, and the boss said, "Have an amazing day." And with no hesitation, I smiled, and I said, "Every day is an amazing day." Same day that in my head, I lost like something big, you know, like something I worked so hard for. And the thing is, that week, the days I didn't trade, I would have won. The days I did trade, I lost. But if I waited, I would have won on those days. Like if I stuck to if I didn't do break of structure, if I only did break of structures and not in risk for value gap. At that time, I traded a lot differently. I trade really differently now compared to then. Not really differently, but way more better, you know, more efficient. I learned. I got better. That was my beginning profitable strategy. But anyways, next week comes and I passed an eval in 3 days. First try, I believed in myself, you know, I didn't put myself down after blowing my first Express account. I held myself up and I passed an eval. And then that month, I did amazing. I made $2,000 on that eval. I was able to get a payout for $1,000, and at the time, that would have covered my expenses, which is crazy because from that time until November, I think I lost like, let me just get into it. So there was 1 week where I was like, okay, I've been doing really good. I think I'm ready to size up. So instead of risking 250 with 2K in drawdown, I was starting to risk 500 with 2K in drawdown. Little did I know that was a big mistake. And I got emotional, and I messed up. And I blew the account that I built for a month in 3 days. Because there was one day where I took 2 trades. So anyways, that destroyed me right there. That was a setback. But once again, I told myself who I am, how I've come back. Throughout the whole summer, I was getting setbacks, and I did better the next week. Learned lessons. Oh, I had a new lesson to learn, so I messed up, failed, got back on my feet, did better until I passed. And then I failed, and then I got better, and I made 2K on an account, but then I failed again before I requested that payout. I regretted that. I wanted to request that money. I wanted that $1,000 just to know that I earned a payout. That was in August. Or no, that was the first week of September. In September, I went through this cycle in September and through like halfway through October where I was passing evals really quickly. Because after that, I don't know why, I just became really good at passing evals. Evals are easy in my opinion. But anyways, pass the evals really quickly, and then I would blow them when I got to the express. I would make like 2K on the express, and then within like 2 days, and then I would lose it the third day or something. I would get emotional because I was still recovering. I never really acknowledged the emotions. I more so suppressed them from the 2K loss in that month. And instead of allowing myself to feel the emotion and let it pass, I suppressed it so it came out during my trading. And that'll be for another video, this whole emotional, being able to feel it and let it go. Because if I'm being honest, that's one of the biggest things you need to be able to do as a trader. Because you need to have good mental health to be a good trader, in my opinion. Like, you need to have your life set and sorted and organized. I'm about to say something crazy, but you cannot be the person... Once you're profitable, like at the beginning, you need to be the person that grinds for hours and only thinks about trading and working hard and getting the skill. But once you get the skill, you have to become the person that does not care. I know it's like crazy and it's a crazy mind shift, but once you get to a point where you're succeeding in it, you'll understand. Because like every trader I see is like that. But anyways. So, where was I? Okay, October comes, and I stopped dedicating as much time to the charts, and I remembered, okay, I was able to get a payout. I was able to be eligible for a 1K payout before. I'm gonna just do it again. I'm just gonna get a 1K payout. I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna follow my rules. And then I met this girl, and she kind of took my mind off of trading, so I was more disattached to the outcome. And I did good. I ended up getting my first payout in November of 2025. And then I got a second payout 2 weeks later. So in 1 month, I made 2K. And that was awesome. And then in December, I went through something. I earned the payout in December. I took it out in January. But I was going through like a little setback in January. And this is where that whole, you've heard me say it in other videos if you've watched it, where big setback, better come up than what I was before. And then another setback, but it's not as bad. Like it's not as much of a setback as like the first one. But then I come back even stronger. I make more progress, and then it's a pattern. It repeats. Then I go into another even weaker setback, but then I come back even stronger. And that's what happened in December. And I came back stronger with a whole new system for my trading, which now I use it even better than I was in December. Because in December I was more so of a robot with it. Wasn't really using too much discretion. Now I use even more discretion because that's my real strength when it comes to trading, if I'm being honest. That's why I'm so heavy on protecting your mental health, because good mental health means better discretion. But anyways, so January comes, and this is when I made my first 10K, and then I let the stress get to me, had a setback, and guess what happened? I blew the 10K. That was a setback. Now, I said not as big as a setback because it didn't hold me back as much as that September setback did or December setback did, despite it being my biggest loss ever. I got back on my feet. I came up with a plan because I managed to stay content because I knew that I was going to come out better. Because that was the pattern that kept on happening throughout my whole trading career. I would get into a setback and come back stronger. And I knew it was just going to keep on happening, which it did. And when I say 10K a month, first off, I want to say I was eligible for, not eligible, because I wasn't eligible for the payout yet. I was a few trades away, but I had already made the money. I was just farming $150 winning days. So like, that was a setback. I got emotional. But I learned from it. I learned how to prevent those emotions, and that'll be for another video on emotional control. But instead of letting my thoughts, back to the main topic of this video, because I'm showing you guys how much your thoughts can dictate your results, and how much your thoughts can dictate how happy you are. So I remember I would call my friends to reassure myself, and I would tell them what I'm telling you guys. The setback would happen, I'd come back stronger. I had this belief, and that comforted me. And then I came up with a plan, and I journaled my emotions, and I thought about what I wanted to happen, which was a profitable month again, my third profitable month. So it was November and then December. January should have been a profitable month. After I made the 10K, I would have got a 5K payout, and I spent like 2K that month, so 3K profit. But I didn't because I got emotional. February comes, I make $700, you know, nothing crazy. It's still profit on the month. I was still technically profitable that month. I was taking it slow because I learned my lesson from January. March comes and I perform amazing. Have my biggest month ever. I do 12K, take a 6K payout. And guess what happens? I get into a setback with the leftover accounts. I traded them all at once. And I was just like, okay, we're just going to size up the first trade. Learn my lesson with that. I learned that I do not want to trade like this anymore with like heavy sizing. I'd rather just trade 5 accounts. And now we're here today. I'm not going to say what I'm doing now because it adds pressure. This is like part of getting to know yourself, which will be for another video. So many tools that I have for you guys that will impact your trading. Anyways, so all I thought about was what I wanted and how to overcome what was happening. But I didn't think about what was happening. I thought about tools to be where I want to be, which is what I used and what I thought about and what I applied when I traded, which then went into my results and made me a better trader over and over and over. My belief system made me a better trader. My thoughts made me a better trader. My thoughts made me a happier person. Whenever something negative comes into my life, I always think about the positive. I can always find positive. Yesterday, I went to the Lakers game with my dad, my brother, and my brother's mom. And it was an amazing game. But the Lakers lost. But I like OKC. I like the team, the people on the team. I like the things they post on social media. I think they're all cool, all that. So in my head, I was like, okay, yeah, this might have been LeBron's game. And then I was like, damn, he lost. Okay, that's what everybody else was saying. That's not what I was saying. But then this is what I said. I gotta watch potentially LeBron's last game in person, 18 rows up, which was sick. I gotta eat good food before that game. That's why I'm kind of bloated right now. I ate a hamburger with fries, and that was amazing because I used to never go to restaurants and actually eat food I like because of how deprived I would be of food until my cheat meal day. Now I'm able to eat more because I got lean, and now I gotta squeeze things in. I gotta basically eat in the deficit and then add things into my week where I'm at maintenance. Just maybe in a little bit of a deficit still, because I low-key did have a binge cycle for a while. But anyways, so I thought about what I liked. I gotta witness that. And then I gotta witness OKC, probably the greatest team in the league right now. I gotta witness that. Like, that's awesome. I gotta witness that. Okay, this is gonna be embarrassing because I'm not gonna say his name right probably, but Jared McCain or something like that. I see his videos like on TikTok and stuff, and like I think like that's cool as hell. Like he seems cool as hell, and he's around my brother's age. So he's young, and he's crazy, bro. I was seeing him, like, shooting threes, cooking. He was, like, a key player for OKC. I gotta witness SGA. I gotta witness Asian Duke Dennis, bro. Like, you know how fire that was? But anyways, and I gotta be with my dad and my brother. Like, there was so much good. So, yeah, the team I wanted to win lost. But there was still so much good. What the fuck are you honking at, bitch? Bro honked at me for no reason. Anyways, my bad. Yeah, there's so much good. So many things to be positive about. And that's why I'm in such a good mood. And yeah, I could be like guilty, you know? Because I went really over my calories yesterday. But now I think about it, yeah, I'm bloated today, but I also, on the weekly term, I'm in a deficit. I don't really care how I look. I'm just going to school. And I'm not going to the gym today. And to be honest, I feel good because I didn't go too far over where it turned into a 7,000 calorie day. Because then I'd feel like crap today. And I have crazy stomach pain. I just went to 4,000 calories. And I got to enjoy my evening, eat good, spend time with people I love. That's amazing. And I enjoyed the food. I got to eat food and not feel guilty, which is amazing. So much good. So many things to be positive about. But this is a skill. I wasn't always like this. My dad taught me all of this, and now I'm giving it to you guys. My dad taught me how to change my thoughts and shift them to bring better results and true happiness into my life. And that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. So, it's a skill, you know? You're not just gonna automatically snap your finger and be able to do it. Unless you believe you can, maybe you will, but at the beginning you probably don't. You're probably skeptical. You're probably gonna be like, okay, think about it, whatever. But you force yourself to do it, and eventually it just starts working. Eventually, you will see it work. You will see yourself automatically look for the good in every situation, and you will become a happier person, a more positive person. You'll be more motivated, more energetic. You'll feel amazing, and you'll enjoy your life way more, and you will live a better life, and you'll have better results. There's so much good with positive thinking. It's so powerful, and it's such a useful tool. I read this book, a little bit of a book on it. I honestly, I don't like reading, so I more so just learned from my dad, and I learned from my own experiences and from TikTok or YouTube. I don't like reading. The only thing I read is the Bible. But anyways, I gave you guys a tool. I gave you guys how I use it. I gave you guys like a nice story of my come up, you know? But anyways, so use it, you know? You only live once. Don't decrease the quality of your life because you're like skeptical about something working, you know? It'll work. It'll help you, I promise you. But you have to actually be willing to use it and practice it consistently. Because it's a skill, like anything. You have to practice it and you have to continuously use it for it to eventually bring you better results. But it will. So take action. Start today. Don't do yourself the disservice of living a lower quality life when you could change that lower quality life with one simple skill, which is positive thinking. And it's really simple and it's really useful and it's not a lot of work to use. So I definitely recommend practicing it and building this skill. I promise you, if you just do it consistently for a month, your life will become so much better. Just don't entertain the negative. When a negative thought comes or a negative emotion, feel it, let it pass, maybe journal it, and then rip it up. That's what I do. Whenever I'm stressed, I write about it. Okay, wait, no. That's for a different video. Well, actually, I'll just say it right now. But then I'll go more into it in a different video. But whenever I'm stressed, I write about it. And I feel the emotion. I feel whatever I'm feeling while I write. And then I'm like, I know this is corny, but I'm like, I say goodbye to the thought. Like, I feel it, and then I let it go. I release it. Oh, shoot. My friend is fucking coming after me right now. Okay, I gotta go. But I mean, I feel it, and then I rip it up, and I let the emotion go. But yeah, oh, he didn't see me. Anyways, so I hope I taught you guys something useful and powerful. I know I did, and if you use it, it will change your life. I'm gonna get to my final. Good talk. I really like making this video. I'll catch y'all.